Okay, here's the process I've been using to hone in on these high spots and low spots. So I've blued up the section of the panel that I'm working on once again, and I'll run the board, so some 60 grit paper, glued onto a nice flat board. So obviously it takes off the blue wherever it touches and leaves the blue in the low spots. Try to get that up close to the crease as well. Okay, so what I've found is it's leaving some of the blue on, just touching it, but leaving a bit of stain there in some of these spots. But there's still quite a lot of staining here where it's obviously a bit lower. Bit of a low spot there. If I run my hand over here, man, I can't even feel those spots where the blue is. I can feel that, and gee, we're getting pretty good to the finger touch through here. This one I can feel. Obviously I've got a high spot here that I need to work on. So we're low here, but we're high there, which is accentuating it. And still a bit low through here. Got a crease there, which I don't know, I don't pretend to know what I'm doing here, but I expect that's going to need to be filled. But to work on those spots where the blue is still showing up, I'll take my hammer and my slapper and dolly, and with the dolly underneath there, continue to work the slapper a bit over those low spots. And I can see that the slapper is contacting the metal right in the bottom of the low there. Getting a good face of the dolly into the back there is a bit of a challenge. A spot here. Work on this area up the top here. If I'm understanding things correctly from what I've been picking up mostly online, the large footprint of the slapper contacts the material around the low area. So it'll at the same time as allowing the dolly to bring up the bottom of the low area, it pushes down the perimeter of it. So if I understand it correctly, that's the idea. So rather than hitting with a hammer in the middle, which would just thin that metal and spread the low area, which I don't want to do, I'm allowing the surface area of the slapper to push the surrounding metal down around the profile of the dolly. So I've got deepish little dimples there. Just trying to find a part of the dolly that contacts where I want to. Work on this little bit. It's still within the area that I want to cover at the moment. I'm really not sure what's going to be the best way to drop my slapper. What's going to be the best way to approach this? I gave it a little bit of dressing with the hammer, but I haven't been able to get it to come down into the line that I want, and I'm again losing some definition in the crease here. But yeah, it was still a little low there. That's feeling pretty good down through here. I'll do a little more work there where I can feel that it's slightly concave. A bit of a concavity still there. Okay, so that's how I've been working at it, just to show you that, taking off the blue, working on the spots where the blue remains. So that's what I've been doing over this area. I'm really encouraged by it. It was just full of unevenness, low spots, high spots. Still a little low there. So I have hope that even as a complete novice, I seem to be making a difference in the right direction. A lot of work to do just on this panel, and hopefully bit of time and effort, I'll get there. So that's the process anyway. I just wanted to show the actual slapper and dolly work. Okay, I've been working on those low spots that we revealed down through here, but I also have, I'm using this as my landmark, this crease, and this is the section that I'm working on at the moment to get right, hopefully. And I could no longer avoid the fact that this real problem area is in the area that I'm working on, so I've been doing the easy stuff, but I've decided to address this bit here. And I did a little bit of work just with the hammer. It was raised there and quite a mess. So just with the hammer, I've knocked it back a little bit and then done a bit of dolly and slapper work on it. I've worked through these areas. Now, just with the reflection on the light, this real flank sort of area here, it looks really good to my untrained eye. So I'll run the board over it and see what the blue tells me and see whether I should be encouraged or discouraged at this point. The flange down here, where it's spot welded, really gets in the way of rolling the board right over that edge. I probably need something a bit smaller. But generally on a convex area like this, the large board seems to work pretty well. A smarter person than me would probably throw this panel away and import a reproduction one, but there are a few reasons why I'm not doing that in the first instance. This is the first bit of panel work that I'm doing on this restoration project, and I felt that it would be starting off on the wrong foot just to throw panels away and buy new ones. So if I can learn some good skills in the restoration of this panel, as I've said before, even if I end up throwing it away in the end, then I've gained something. I'm in Australia, if it's not obvious by my lack of accent, but I looked at importing panels from Europe, and there are several sources of replacement panels, and the shipping costs are crippling. So to import inner and outer sills and half of the floor pan for this car, I got a shipping quote of £480 UK, which translates to about $1,000 Australian. It was more than double the price of the parts themselves. So I envy you guys who are in Europe or in the UK and can just drive down to Sainsbury's local, and pick up parts for these things. But for me, that's $1,000 every time I want to import a batch of parts. and then on top of that, as soon as it lands in Australia, I'll be slugged with import duties, which I've imported Land Rover parts and importing a gearbox from the UK. Man, you get hit with $500 import duty. I like paying tax as much as the next person. I'm all for you people all supporting the government, but if I felt that they would spend it wisely, I'd probably feel a bit better about giving them my money. But so, from those even financial perspectives, at this point of the build, it's worth me putting in some time, and if I can pick up the necessary skills as I go, so much the better. Anyway, enough chatting. Yeah. Okay, these guys down here, I can't feel those. I'm confident that some high build primer will take care of this area now. A little bit more work to do here, and one of the things that's giving me a bit of a struggle here is the shape of the dolly. I probably need to suck it up and spend a bit of money on tools, using the one dolly that I own that has been sitting on a shelf in my workshop for 30 years. Okay, obviously a fair bit more work to do here. So I think I've improved it by just taking to it with the hammer initially and lowering it and then working it up with the dolly. So I might do that a little bit more here, just hammer work. And I'm getting to, I've got these bits up here, but it's seems to be mostly scoring rather than high and low there. Obviously my board won't work in there. I'm moving towards completion of this first section. I've still got I've done all the easy bits. I've still got the hardest part to do. And then I'll move across this, what is the upper part of the panel. And then I think I'll move down into the lower hip area. And shaping of the wheel arch, reshaping that wheel arch itself, that's a problem for future Pete. Hopefully I'll learn some stuff as I go with this and be a little more confident in shaping up the wheel arch by the time I get to that. So that's where we're at. We've definitely made some good progress down through here. A little bit more work still to do there.